Guys, what up? Good morning, everybody. So this morning, I'm gonna play a game, and then I'm gonna do quick talk. I'm gonna go over probably after this game, if we get into a game, I'm going to go over all the important things that I've picked up recently, kind of give you guys a little something to try in your games. To stomp it out. Also, I was thinking last night after losing some games, I'm thinking that I'm gonna bring back the Wukong. I'll explain why. I'll show you. Well, basically, I'll show you. I'll show you why. I'll show you why that is. I don't know if it's gonna be Wukong. But like, there's gotta be something that's good early aggro. It's weird to say, but out of all the junglers that I have, so basically my playstyle is exploring like early invades right now is what I'm fucking with. And there's not many good options for that, except Nidalee, but I would have all AD'd us, or all AP'd us if I did that. Yeah, I failed doing this last night, because I tried to gank and then I took a bad fight, but I am basically... No, the thing is... Okay, actually, Jarvan may have been okay. Jarvan could be good, but the thing is Jarvan has, like, no carry potential when he's ahead. It's kind of the Nidalee problem, actually. I think Jarvan's better than Nidalee, don't get me wrong, for, you know, what happens if you get ahead, but I'm just saying that, in essence, Jarvan's really... He struggles, later in the game, which is why his win rate's so bad. I was thinking, like, Jarvan should be awesome in this meta, but really not. Let's go over this strat. I want to explain this to you guys, okay? I want you to feel my struggles. I want you to feel my struggles. Right? So I've been working on this. Let me turn on the drum and bass. Drum and bass, or turn it off. Drum and bass has been pretty legit, actually, for this playstyle. All right, so here's what I've been working on. Now, obviously, I don't need to say that the results aren't great yet, but I'm convinced of all the stuff I fucked with so far. I'm gonna actually... I am convinced of all the stuff that I have fucked with so far. I have had the most say over the games. Now, that game is a good demo of why I think that. I am convinced that I've had the most say over the games when I'm playing, at least in the jungle, when I'm playing hyper aggro. I've also lost the hardest and lost the most reliably when other junglers do the same. Now, what I'm about to go over may not actually apply for like NA, but I think it does personally. And the reason why I'm going to say it does is because it's not like the jungle's really XP wise any different. I'm just going to explain to you guys my findings. I'll go ahead and use my trusty notepad for this. I wish I had like a black version of this. It's like this whole like white, it's like a fucking light in my face, but whatever. I'll use you know what, well, I'll do kind of like a mix. I'll do a mix. I'll do it in, actually, let's do it with the VOD. I've had fails. Like, I could probably show you fails too, actually, and make this like a really complete fucking rundown of like aggro, what I'm finding in this meta. So let's start at the beginning. This is gonna be like a quick talk about this, so everybody can kind of understand, you know, what the fuck it is I'm doing and why, and like basically my test. So I should start with this account. Okay, so this account is Struggle Bus. Okay, Struggle Bus preseason account. This account, I played to Diamond. What did it get to? It got to Diamond 2 at its peak, 76 LP, which I assume was mostly Fiora. Now, after I stopped playing Fiora, and before you ask, like, why'd you stop playing Fiora? Part of that is because just being frustrated. It was like banned more. Just being frustrated with top in general. I just wasn't having as much fun. I've also played top for a long time. So I stopped playing Fiora and started slowed him out. Also playing Karma has been a huge pain point for me, learning Karma. So I'm going to go through the champions that I've played and fucked with and give you some quick, at least put a little bit of time in and give you kind of like my findings on this patch and on this meta. So by and large, my best champions in terms of like what I think would be my best champions, it would probably be Tryndamere, Nocturne, Mordekaiser, Hecarim probably, even though I didn't get a great result with Hecarim, which I'll cover why in a bit. Maokai is probably one of my better ones because I was playing on China with Maokai. We got up to Diamond 2 there as well. That we didn't play as long. We didn't play nearly as long in China. Not nearly as long, actually. Maokai was played a lot there. I mean, most all my stuff. I've played Bard for a little while before this. Most of my champions so far in preseason have been relatively new, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say. I don't think that's bullshit. Kindred's pretty new. Sylas pretty new. Wukong, I used to play him, but that's very new. Yone's new. Soraka's new. Mundo used to play it, but not new Mundo. Yeah. Echo's new. Twisted Fate, yeah, I used to play it. This has been just me being bad, honestly. I think Twisted Fate, I could have a better result with this. I'll cover that a bit. Sejuani, actually, I've played for a while. I haven't had good results with Sejuani, but again, I think that's just me being impatient, which I'll cover in a bit. Heimerdinger's new. Amumu's new. Lux, sort of new. Not really. I played Lux off and on for years. Elise, very new. Karthus, old, but I haven't played him in a while. Ezreal, didn't play much of him. So let's go over real quick on my findings so far. And I'll go through the list of the champions that are most played, starting at the top. So Tryndamere is very good, but around Diamond 3, Diamond 2, laning starts getting a lot harder, and I find that I don't know. Honest to God, I feel like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was when I played this guy, I never got countered. And I think that was actually like a worldwide meta, because Tryndamere got so popular that he was played in Worlds, I think 2 years ago, and then the year before that, when I was playing him a shit ton in high elo, no one counterpicked the guy. Like, very rarely you would run into Jax mid. TF Blade gave me Jax mid every time I played Tryndamere, so that was just like constant. But that was like an obvious counterpick. And then there was like Gragas mid would occasionally show up, Set mid would occasionally show up, but it wouldn't. And Ari would pop up from time to time, and Akali. But I don't know if I just got lucky back then or what the fuck happened. But it feels like in that territory, Tryndamere starts getting counterpicked a lot. And if he does, you don't do shit. You actually just sit under your tower. You can't do anything. One thing that I haven't explored much with him is Fleet. I have not explored Fleet enough. Fleet was how I made high elo before, and I don't even know if it was optimal in every single matchup, but I do wonder at times if it would be better to just to force prio by going Fleet into matchups that are pokey, as opposed to just like sit back with lethal tempo. Because sitting back with lethal tempo, you know, is fine because you scale up and you're still Tryndamere, right? But the problem is, if you do that and you face good laners, eventually what winds up happening is they just run around and kill your jungle, take the map, or whatever, and you don't really, you know, I've ran into like Zac mid, I don't know, 10 fucking times. Tryndamere mid and Ari, and these lanes are very, very tricky to navigate and to like do much too. So I don't know. I think that Tryndamere overall is still very good. He seems fine, but like counterpicks are brutal, and that was a big reason why I don't play him all day every day right now, because I feel like you could climb with him, but I also don't want to be one tricky. I don't want to play like 1 billion games of Tryndamere, because that's how I feel it's going to be if you go beyond if you go like mid to high diamond, it just feels like you're gonna be playing. Honestly, he might actually be better top because people figured out to counter pick him in mid, which is funny to say, because they didn't used to, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. They didn't used to do that. Wukong was really good with Ravenous Hydra. Oh, also, yes, Ravenous Hydra on Trinimir is very good, but that'll be nerfed, so it doesn't matter because you'll still have like Kraken Slayer and Gale Force and all sorts of shit you can go. So it's not like you're fucked. But yeah, Ravenous abuse is, you know, it's kind of gimmicky. Like, yes, you probably win now, but you're not gonna be very happy if you do that later. Oh, I skipped over Mord and Yone. I guess I should go up here too. Yone is cool. I didn't play him quite enough, quite as much as I wanted to. The reason why that I didn't play him a lot is because, honestly, when I got into a jungle kick, I kind of dropped this. He does feel very good, but under the condition that you're willing to, like, big dick it in mid. And I just was not willing to play him and do what I'm doing right now, where I'm just playing aggro, but with Yone. And I think that's a big component of good Yones, it seems. A lot of these matchups that you get here have been, like, a lot of Aurelias and Yasuos and like fucking crazy shit where either you jam out mechanically or you just kind of get bullied, pushed around. And it's very like either you go for it or you just kind of pussy out and basically either you pussy out and lose or you go for it. You maybe win, but if you lose hard. Both routes seem pretty bad for somebody who doesn't play a lot of Yone. But surely if you just farm up and chill, like if you want some advice for low elo, if you just farm up and chill your Yone, I'm just saying here, these games have not been very conducive to that for me. Mordekaiser's actually been really fucking good in lanes. Every time I've pulled Mordekaiser in a lane, it's gone really, really well. Every time I put him in the jungle, it's gone like shit, which is why I don't like him in the jungle at all. I think I have a gap in terms of my mid game with jungling, like a really significant one, which might be a part of it. But like, he's very telegraphed and obvious in the jungle. He just paths and ganks, and it seems very, very easy to avoid his ganks. So I'm not entirely convinced that any Mordekaiser wins in jungle are completely your doing. I think it's more just like your laners did okay, and you're Mordekaiser, right? Heimerdinger, sorry, just nodding. I was still a little sick. Heimerdinger is still pretty strong in support. I want to go over a VOD of somebody who's really good playing him so I could study this a bit. I've only played him a few times, but he feels really good. You can like solo kill people from bushes and shit, which is nice. And he's got really good lane prio in pretty much every matchup. He can block hooks and shit. It's a very strong lane. And the hype is deserved. Elise, I only played her once. Felt really strong to me. I think she's broken as shit. She's probably gonna get nerfed if I'm being real. She's too good. I think the reason that Elise is really, really good is jungling is more aggro. And after I talk about Kindred, I'm going to show you that VOD with Trinimir with the aggro jungling stuff explained, and then maybe a fail VOD on Kindred if I can find one, so I can show you what I mean when I say fails, like early fails. Elise is really good because early ganking is good, and she's the queen of that. She's probably the best one of all the junglers. I think when it comes to early ganks, she's the best, and she's good at invading as well. Just it's level 3 invades usually. She's got a pretty fast clear, pretty healthy clear, and in games here, not only is it beneficial to play fast, but they just play fast, period. And then Kindred's basically my new fun champ. This is new, completely fucking new. Everything about this playstyle to me is new. So first of all, when I played jungle, well, it was technically this season with Nocturne to master, I just power cleared, like I said. No brain off, power clear, ult somebody, do it again, do it again, do it again. Won most of the games, got mastered, very, very easy. I never really played aggro jungling. I never really ganked heavy. I never. My entire, like, I'm trying to think of junglers that I would ever do that with. I coached like Jarvan stuff, but it was very like cheeky, like cheesy. Generally speaking, I personally did not play that style. And so this has been kind of new territory for me. So, but I would like to point out that despite it being new territory, the result has been decent and it's completely fresh. So I'm going to go into the VOD and then I'll go through the rest of these champs and talk about them just so you guys know. Because I imagine some of you guys are at least wondering what I think about some of these champions. But I'm going to show you this Trinimir game. The reason why it's a Trinimir game is Kindred was banned, but it's the same fundamental idea. okay? And I'm going to show you the meta as I see it. Early meta, okay? If you guys want to go into your games, your ranked games, and fuck with this stuff, be warned. While it is very, very impactful, it is also very, very easy to fuck up. I want to explain it, though, so you understand the philosophy behind it, why I think it's really strong, and why, even though, like, I go on streaks with this, most of the time when I lose with this strat, even if I'm bitching, like, I call it, there's two types of bitching, okay? There's, there's reality bitching and gamer bitching. If I'm bitching about teammates in a game, that's gamer bitching. I think we all do gamer bitching. Reality bitching is like, we go back, we look at the VOD, we recognize we fucked up. Okay, gamer bitching is much different than reality bitching. I'm going to frame it up that way, just so you know, I'm human, just like you guys. If I play, I get mad sometimes and bitch. But most of the time that I lose, I can look at those VODs and find something that I could do very, very differently. And I'm not saying like, oh, you missed 5 CS. No, I'm talking like, you could have pathed differently. You could have tried something different. You could have explored a different avenue. And that's why this strategy has been really, really fun for me. And so I would recommend, if jungle is a bit of a question mark, maybe you should look at this, because I feel like I'm investing in something really cool here, in the sense that, you know, over the years, I've done a bunch of different play styles. You know, Gangplank back in the day was just like farm up, you know, wait, ult around the map. Twisted Fate, hit your CS, ult around the map, side lane. Tryndamere, you know, mid Tryndamere, we push, we invade, we fuck with people, we pressure towers, we get out of the ganks, blah, blah, blah. All these different play styles, you know, Maokai, we fucking take Maokai, we clear, we dive top, we dive mid or whatever. All these different play styles are very systematic. This play style is very dynamic, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? This play style is very dynamic. Let me go ahead and make this full screen. So, here's what I'm finding. Right now in this jungle, it is absolutely... You could take tanks and you could chill and gank and do tank things, right? But here's the little facts of Riot Games. Riot Games is not going to let tanks be strong forever. They never do, okay? They like Timmy champs. Timmy champs sell. Chinese, Korean players, they're Timmys. They want to play Timmy champs. They don't want to play Zac. They don't want to play Rammus. They don't want to play fucking Maokai. They don't want to play that shit, guys. It's going to get nerfed. I'm telling you right now. When the Timmy champs aren't having fun, those tanks get nerfed, okay? So yes, tanks are strong, but playing aggressive is always going to be beneficial for you. A, because Riot favors it. B, because at the end of the day, this meta favors it. All right? And hear me out why. And also just game philosophy, League of Legends philosophy. The more selfish you are in this game, the better. And that's what I'm finding. Because I feel like in the past like 3 or 4 days, I've learned more about the game than I have. You know, I've been fucking around in Diamond here for like a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I feel like I've learned more in the past like 3 or 4 days about the game playing this way than I have just playing lanes or playing like standard, you know, jungling. So let's talk about it. So this is going to be seen by a lot of people, a lot of critics, as very, very gimmicky. It is gimmicky. But for some reason, well, let's not say for some reason, but basically right now, the way that the jungle XP is working, you don't actually get penalized as hard as you would think anymore. It takes a lot longer to clear your camps. Yes, jungling is easier, but it takes longer to clear shit by yourself. You have less sustain in the jungle. So what's funny is, I don't think anybody really predicted this, but I believe that invading is actually more stronger than it's ever been. The reason why is because people are just lower in the jungle more often. It's common sense, really, when you think about it. But when we were doing or analyzing it back when the patch was talked about, we all kind of said, "Oh, it's going to be more passive." Blah blah. Nah, dude, this is fucking chaos. This is fucking chaos, dude. At least in my opinion. So level 1, if you are on blue side, just always try to sneak a ward here. Just always put a ward in here. Just put it somewhere. You can put it on Gromp. You can even put it to the side here if you want to be cheeky. Just want to know where your jungler, where the enemy jungler is starting, where they're going. If they start blue, they almost always take Gromp. Okay? So if you know that, if you put your ward down and recall on this side, you can kind of play this like super aggro game safely, or I guess more confidently. So the idea is that anytime that a jungler is on, you know, if he moves in this way, look how he's moving. It gave me anxiety and made me think he's going to ward. So I'm going to explain like this whole game plan. This is a standard level 2 invade. Like, a lot of players have talked about this in the past. It's standard. You just take red, you hop the wall, you pressure this, okay? I'm of the belief right now that this is a must do, at least on Korea. This is like a must. If you see it, you must. It's not like an optional. You must. Because, and I'm going to show you why. It really puts the enemy jungler in a tough spot. As you can see, I don't go to Gromp after taking this camp. The reason I don't go over the wall right away is because I'm afraid that he's going to see me because he moved down in the river and warded. This is, again, the meta. If you're on the red side, you should ward for this shit. Because if they come around this corner, I just literally will come around the corner and smite this away. If I smite this away, if I get red and Gromp early, you're fucked. Like, you're just fucked. Because what's going to happen is you get Gromp. Now, this guy cannot clear his bot side for level 3. He has to go over here. So you take this Gromp. If you're Tryndamere, say I go right over this wall. I take this Gromp. I go right through mid. I gank mid. And I go and sit at red. And I just sit in the jungle. I don't even have to do anything. I could just sit here and not start my camps. And as long as if I create prio in mid, if I sit there, the jungler is stuck. He is actually just going to slow lose. But the reason why I say that is because I could just fish around these bushes, pull pressure from top and mid. And as long as I get out of the situation, anytime this guy tries to start his jungle, I'm there and I know about it. And it just puts infinite amount of pressure on the jungle. It puts infinite amount of pressure on mid and top. And now your teammates have full authority over the game. They can choose whatever they want to do. If they want to freeze, if they want to follow, if they want to... They can do basically a ton of shit. Because even if the guy gets red, he's still level 2. If he comes back and gets wolves, you take red. Like, if he seems like the type of guy that wants to take wolves, you could take red. So here, I didn't take the Gromp, but that was just because he kind of suggested that he might ward, and I didn't want to tell on what I was doing. So I do something cheekier. And this is what I mean, like, the cheesier, the better. Like, gimmicky ass shit, do it. Technically here, I should have waited until he turned the corner, probably. But the idea is still solid. Spin on him, auto him, try to flash, get the last auto. Unfortunately, it's not a crit, whatever. Now, you'll see what I mean. I have now unlocked a gank into mid. I can go mid, I can go bottom. All this is open now. In this meta, this is very strong. If enemy bot lane is pushing out, they're now fucked. This guy, I mean, I tank a tower shot. I don't even have to do that, right? If these guys are pushing, I just drop the bot. If this guy's pushing, I go to mid. The jungler's out. He can't heal up anymore. Like, it's really, really hard to heal up on this side. So I just gank mid. We just go mid. The guy's pushing. He's stuck. He realized he has to go all in. The wave's already crashing. He doesn't want the wave to get stuck. It's Aurelia. It is what it is. Now, you can walk yourself into fucked up spots here. And that's why I'll show you in the replay, different replay. You can walk yourself into weird spots, but the thing is it's usually your fault. Like, there's things you could have changed, and I'll show you an example after this. But like, after I kill this guy, look, I help shove a little bit, and I go right to red. I probably should have shoved a little more, but look, Echo, he took his wolves. I didn't know this at the time, right? I didn't know this at the time, but I could have taken red here. I just didn't, because I felt it was sus. Like, I couldn't see chickens. I couldn't see Olaf, but it's just the pressure, right? It's the pressure of the lane. So I walk myself all the way through this. This guy usually, after he flashes, will usually not come back for wolves. He'll usually just recall. I actually don't know what he did. Let me see what he did now that we have the VOD. So he went, instead of recalling, he went up and around, and it looked like he was going to run straight to his red. Personally, I think he played this goofy, because I think if I was him and I got Gromp, I would just back and go to red, right? But whatever, right? As you can see, I can't know for sure and where Olaf is. But if I saw Olaf in lane, or if top was pushed in, you better believe I would do red. 100%. I would just start farming red. There's no reason not to, right? And Tryndamere, I would still have a smite. So as you can see, we set the tone on this game. And here's the mid-game part that I was talking about. This is why I say I have like a mid-game problem, is because there's a lot of choices that you create now when you're doing this. And you think to yourself, oh, usually, you know, you want to hit level 4 or whatever. You want to like level up to 4 and play from there. In my opinion right now, what's been working for me is just finding things that are pushing and just ganking like a madman. Even on a champion like Trinomir, who isn't very, you know, doesn't have great ganks, it's better overall to just get back on the map and just anybody that's pushing, just flank, gank over and over and over again. Don't let the enemy jungler do anything. Don't let him dictate any pace from the beginning, right? Kick him out of his jungle, push him around, and then gank stuff. It's so hard to farm back in now, is what I'm trying to say. It used to be I could just power farm, right? I could just do that. Here, I don't feel that. This new meta, I guess, I don't feel that way. I feel like if I don't immediately grab the game by the balls, I'm just... someone else is going to do this. They're going to take red and gank top, which I'll cover in a bit. They'll do the invades to me. It just feels really, really unlikely that you're going to be able to offset by power farming like you used to. Remember, like a year or so ago, it was very easy to just say power farm on everybody. And I still think it's viable in lower elos. You know, people watching this low elo right now, I still think it's viable. But like I said, if you want to explore something a little different, if you're more advanced, this is fun. Because you can basically just do what I'm doing here, which is just constantly just be walking in the enemy jungle, fucking with the guy. Here, I know that chickens are likely to be up because... I mean, he couldn't have done both. I was going to check chickens. If they were up, I was going to turn the corner and check red. Obviously, I know he takes red. So then we could just gank to mid. Same thing. If you're in the jungle, you push them around. You fold in on these ganks. Very, very hard to match. Right? With waves pushing, Aurelia feels like she has to do something. Echo has to either go right to the wave and expect it, or you miss the opportunity, you get the kill. So here... we draw pressure, Echo counters. No big deal. Farm up to get our level 4. The wave is still stuck. We go right back to mid. Let's go right back to mid. And don't be afraid to shove waves. To fix waves for your teammates. That's what I covered in jungle coaching. I don't know how she dies. So right off the jump, right? 2 kills. Before anybody is feeding, running it down. Oh, we're not going to do this full clear shit and fucking watch, you know, top lane die 2 times. No, fuck that. Right? We're going to be on the map from the get-go. We're going to be aggressive from the get-go. Anybody that's pushing needs to be pressured in the solo queue environment. Bonus little tip here. When people ask why I think this is like the most learning that I've had in the past like couple weeks, the reason why I say that is because, in my opinion, I've done well. I guess I can show the agency graph thing again. Kind of like a quick, like this is a really bad graph, but bear with me because I just want to explain what I mean when I say agency. So I have a problem with playing slow right now in preseason, and I think it's because no one here respects each other's time very much. And so I'm becoming that. Unfortunately, it's the side effect of what I believe to be right. I have to implement it, or it's one of those things. If I'm gonna bitch about it, it's what I believe is true. I have to take it. You know, I have to actually use that information that I believe to be true. So here, for example, I believe in League of Legends, everybody starts at 0. So like this is, you know, this is time. This denotes time, right? We'll just say like 5, 10, 15. 20. I'm left-handed, by the way, writing with my right hand. I'm ambidextrous, but it's weird. So 5, 10, 15, 20. I believe that every single champion, and we could just say like, this denotes like how much agency you have. Agency could be fucking XP. It could be fucking gold. It could be, I don't know. It could be your champion scaling. I don't fucking know. Any sort of thing could factor in here to agency, right? Your XP, your gold, like how big of a lead you have, the situations you were given. Example of champions with low agency would be something like, I always say like Sona. Sona has low agency. I think Cupic would argue with me, but the point, in my opinion, Sona has low agency. She just kind of walks around, pokes. She doesn't have any gap closes. She doesn't have hard CC until 6. It's not really great for low elo agency. A champion with high agency would be like a Fiora. Very strong from level 1. Olaf, very strong from level 1. Right? Bot lane, Pyke, very strong from level 1. Blitzcrank, very strong from level 1. Champions that have a lot of say in the outcome. If you want to talk about mid, we'll say LeBlanc. That's why she's contested a lot. Lucian, very strong early. Lots of agency. As you can see, this is why when you look at high elo or pro play, this is why these champions are contested all the time, because they have a lot of that. It's usually more centered around lane prio. But the concept that I'm trying to say or trying to explain is the same thing. Okay. Everybody tracking? Cool. So my opinion is the first person to run it down. So if we're all even, right? Just imagine we're all even. We all have like equal agency. Okay. We all have like the same amount. Actually, it should probably start. Now that I think about it, we should probably start like here. Right, somewhere up a little bit higher, because everybody has a little bit of agency to begin with. You lose agency as time goes on, right? So for example, I play Tryndamere, right? I represent the blue, so I'm gonna say I'm Tryndamere. I have the same agency as everybody else. I invade, I get a kill immediately, right? And I get it at like 2 minutes. Immediately my agency goes to here, right? Let's say that meanwhile, in top lane, Olaf up there, which he does, he gets a kill or something. His agency goes to here too. Well, here's the thing. Everybody else on the map, we'll just say this is just like, you know, whatever. Everybody else. Actually, use a different color. Everybody else actually kind of loses their say over the game, in my opinion. The reason why is because now their job is about dealing with these fuckheads. Right? For the next however long, these guys are going to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger, right? Olaf's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Tryndamere's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Echo, who I fucked with, right? Echo got fucked with. Now he has minimal agency. He's down here now. Everybody else is kind of equaled out. Olaf and I, we're up here somewhere. You know, Mordekaiser's getting his fucking dingus slapped, so he's like down here too, right? And everybody else kind of in the middle, depending on what they do. Or depending on what happens and how we use our agency. Olaf obviously can't help the map. This game, I gank Ahri. Fuck Aurelia up. Now Aurelia has low agency. Ahri has more agency. Do you see where I'm going with this? The entire game has now just hinged on whether or not I fuck up. Very selfish. Very selfish. Because when I looked at VODs, when I looked at replays, when I looked at all this shit, I'm seeing over and over again, like, man... Like, I'm trying to play like a tactical game and think about what the fuck, like, you know, what fights make sense, what fights don't make sense, and take my time, which can work, and over a long sample might slowly work. But I hate this process, right? Wait 8 minutes, some guys 3-0 already. I fucking hate this. Right? And so that's what, you know, there's the same logic with like Tryndamere mid back in the day with like Fleet. It's like, well, I'd rather be on the map fucking with people, hitting towers and doing goofy shit and getting ganks pulled to me, and then at least have some say of the outcome than just watch idiots be idiots, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is the first people that are able to grab gold and grab XP are in charge of the match. So it is in your best interest to do anything in your power, if your champion allows it, if your playstyle allows it, it's in your best interest to do anything you can to get that agency. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? So I might look like a moron right now, learning my little kindred, right? I might be feeding a bunch of games, learning my shit. But a lot of the time, I left learning something, even if nobody else did. I'm going to try to find a VOD where I fucked up early. Like, really fucked up. There's one in my mind. It's like an Elise one. It was like a... Hold on, let me try to find it. It was recent. Maybe it was this one. Oh, I think it was this one. Okay, here's a good one. This is fine. Okay, check this out. So I'm fucking up learning this, right? Learning this little meta, learning these little skirmishes, right? I'm of the belief... People also flamed that there's this dude, this Kane guy. I think his name was literally Turd Blast, I think. People flame the shit out of this guy. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that playing this way is optimal, and it's fucked up because I don't think it's necessarily good for the game, because, well, I mean, it's good for the person doing it, but it's not good for anybody else, because if this guy fucks up, it's kind of just on him and that's it, right? But I want to just show you what I mean when I say, like, I'm learning stuff even if no one else is. And I would argue that the Pyke in this situation actually learned some stuff too. So here we go. Elise is starting on blue. All right, cool. I'm about to walk over a ward. This is what I mean with this meta shit. I didn't see anybody ward. I thought I was good to go. I didn't even sweep. Maybe I should. I don't know. Again, learning process. Maybe it works. Maybe this plays better if I sweep. I would have to debate it. There might even be an argument for going up and around here, like I showed you in the Tripnomir VOD. I have to explore it, which is my point. The only way I can do this and get in these positions is by exploring. Maybe the play is actually go up, see that mid's fucking with the Azir, and just gank the shit out of mid and go right into his red. Again, I can only see it if I'm there. Right? Like, I can only get here, be in this position, and learn. Nobody else learns from anything that's about to happen. Okay? So I go in, fuck with Elise. I was obviously on ward. Elise and I trade. I have lethal tempo, so I'm going to win. She's pinging the shit out of this. Tank a tower shot. Fail 1. I should have just expected her to flash and not queued forward. Okay? Whatever. But at the same time, bot lane's fighting. Right? So again, aside from maybe missing an opportunity in mid, aside from not sweeping here, aside from tanking a tower shot, aside from going in altogether, I could have just taken, after a sweep, I could have just dropped in on bottom. Elise would have been useless here. Guess what happens? Pyke dies. Don't really get much done. But I absolutely, in this spot, could have got a shit ton of value here if I was paying more attention on the sweep, on the lanes as I was rotating in this spot. But it's nuanced. It's all weird, right? It's all strange. Not used to running up in here and doing this funky shit. Right? I'm not used to playing these little skirmishes out this early. But the alternative is maybe 3 camp, right? Maybe 3 camp and go to Aatrox, right? But guess what would have happened? If I had done that, this bot lane fights and they snowball off each other, right? I'm obviously fucking with bot lane, still trying to get a kill or a trade or something. This bot lane fights. This bot lane's ahead. Now I'm fighting uphill. I could have just taken the initiative right away if I had just path straight. If I had swept and path straight down, bot lane would have been over. I would recall. I would just take, I'd take top and then, grab a scuttle, come back to bottom, and just constantly just ham up on bottom, probably win the whole game just through this whole 30 seconds. This whole 30-second exchange could have been better. Could have been cleaned up, polished, and it basically changes the entire game. Because you can't trust your teammates, dudes, is what I'm trying to say. I can't trust that every single person that's playing solo queue is playing with the best interest of winning in mind. Right? If you look at my account, I've made a little sticky note. I put a thing that underscore serious player ? I can't know what my teammates are going to do without looking it up in the lobby or without looking it up in the loading screen. But it's irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant to my learning process. Again, I need to become the guy that has the agency, especially here when people are just fucking tilting out of control and going 0-6, 0-7, 0-8. And you guys are probably dealing with it too because it's preseason. But that game, if I pull up teammates, that Aatrox, for example, that guy, he plays Aatrox a little bit, I guess. But realistically, he's just playing whatever, dude. He's filling. I don't fucking know. He's playing whatever. He's balls itch. He goes top. I have no idea because that's not really how the fill works on the server. You pretty much always get one role or you go to support. So this guy's he's picking random shit is what this tells me, right? Just random. He's everywhere. He's ADC, mid. He's top. He's fucking jungle. Who knows with this fucking guy, right? He's not serious, right? It's just not a serious. Same with in this VOD here. Kaisa, probably serious. Pike, semi-serious, right? Azir, pretty serious. But that's not always the case. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, sometimes your teammates are going to be filled or whatever the fuck. You can't afford to play slow. You just can't. Because you don't know what... You just don't know what they're going to do. You do not know what, you know, how focused they are, how fucking... how serious they are in terms of playing for the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Get in the 5-minute zone. This is why I've coached for years on... you know, level 2 all-ins, why I've coached for as soon as you have an all-in, you go for it, you try it. This is just an extension of that, but in the jungle. Because right now, instead of saying, oh, I'm just gonna power farm and, you know, hit my spike as soon as possible, get on the map as soon as possible, switching it up, because I don't believe that the mid-game payoff, the late-game payoff is as good as it used to be. All the data kind of shows it too. When at least, again, at least for where I'm playing, it shows it. Just for counterpoint, if you guys, again, are listening to this and you're thinking, NEACE, I believe you, but I don't think it applies to me. You might be right. You might be right. But I would point out that even in lower elos, something like Kindred is winning. And Kindred is one of those champions that's like, oh, maybe she's not winning. Well, yeah, she's not winning here, but the reason why is because people aren't invading here. But the champions that are winning in low elo are the power farmers, right? So you're still okay. You could go Mordekaiser, you could go Lilia, you could even go Mundo, you could go Nocturne, right? Those are still good. And like I've said, this is just something different, like Master Yi, Udyr, right? But anybody out there right now that's like platinum, diamond, higher on these servers, right, and really wants to start exploring something that I think is worth the investment, I hope this talk is sort of helpful, because I'm going to sit here after not playing Kindred except for the past like 3 days, 4 days, I don't know. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to jam out, and I'm going to be the most aggro motherfucker on the planet, right? And I'm going to do whatever it takes, homies, to get that agency going, no matter the cost. You know? Because, and basically what I'm saying is, don't wait for your fucking your team to throw. Don't wait for, or don't do the thing where you get in the situation where you're looking at a game in post and you say to yourself, oh my, you know, this would have worked, but this guy fed, blah 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 blah. Dude, just you feed. You go feed. Go feed and learn. Oh, and you're probably wondering what other champions can work. I just did the thing with Tryndamere. I think Jarvan could do it. I know Graves can do it. Kha'Zix can do it. I believe that just about anybody that can hop a wall early can do it. I would definitely be very, very careful trying this with the champion that can't hop walls and get out of dangerous situations, because you'll look like a tool bag when you get collapsed on. Oh, I wouldn't do it with Kayn unless you're like... Actually, maybe you can do it with Kayn. Maybe you can do it with Kayn, but it's more, you're not trying to kill anybody. It's more of like you're trying to steal camps and get out. If you want to counter to this strategy, another counter to it would be Nunu. Nunu would be the counter, because Nunu doesn't really give a shit about your invades. He doesn't give a fuck. He's just gonna eat camps and run away. If you try to invade him, it feels like you might be able to pull it off if for some reason he's very slow. But I think that Nunu is has been a problematic one for me. So yeah, subs, what do you think? Good rundown? I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, trying to get my brain wrapped around like how I should proceed and in the off season, the preseason, and I think I feel pretty good about it.